All right, let's get started. Again, my name is Karina. It is great to be here with you today. We are just launching the NOC programs in the Washington market, and we're very excited to have partnered with John L. Scott. This is bringing you the opportunity in a 100% agent-friendly fashion to write more competitive offers and best serve more clients while providing them an elevated experience that reduces their overall stress and ultimately gets them into the dream home they're looking for. So we're going to get you a little bit geared up today, and then next week, same time, we have the actual certification where we'll go through the nuts and bolts, and I'm happy to answer questions after this short and sweet presentation. So you will be one of the first organizations certified having access to Home Swap and Go. We do certify agents. We do partner with select brokerages in each market that we launch. So we have a great opportunity here to be one of the first to market. Let's review the benefits, and then we'll get you set up. So what is NOC, right? We're not an iBuyer. We are what they call now a power buyer. We are a tech-enabled lender providing high-touch bespoke services and creative solutions. We were founded about 6 years ago with the intention of improving the real estate transaction and the experience. And we partner with agents. We pride ourselves on being 100% agent-friendly. We were founded by some of the creators of Trulia. So we have a long entrenched history in the real estate industry. We're backed by NAR. And we have a solid data and algorithms, which has become a hot topic now since Zillow's little snafu. So NOC has created 2 programs to best fit client needs, whether they are looking to buy and sell concurrently or buy with guaranteed financing. Home Swap flips the traditional timeline. That's our flagship product, and it smooths out the entire transaction. We've done thousands of home swaps across the country. This is our 70th market, and we have been the only lender in the country that is enabling your client to buy a new home before they need to list or sell their current home, as if they didn't have an existing mortgage, without sacrificing their purchasing power or the equity in their listing. I'm going to say that one more time. We're the only lender in the country that's enabling the client to buy a new home before they need to list or sell, as if they didn't have that existing mortgage that's on their listing. So they don't need to sacrifice their purchasing power or the equity in their listing to make that new purchase. NOC's guaranteed offer, that's called NOC Go, that's for your buyers only. That gives them the ability to create more compelling offers, compete with cash, as well as additional peace of mind, so they can beat out other buyers for their dream home without necessarily having to pay more. And we'll go over that as well quickly today. With NOC, agents get to do what you do best. You take the lead on the process start to finish. You're using all the same contracts you're used to. Now you simply have a better tool in your toolkit to offer your clients more certainty, convenience, and cost savings. So we're going to talk about Home Swap first. Here are the clients, Suzanne and Francis. They have kids and pets, and it's just too much to make their house show ready while they're trying to live, work, play, potentially school from home, right? Oh, there we go. See, because we're all busy with everything that we have going on in the home, and picking up at a moment's notice, keeping the house spotless is stressful, not to mention having strangers walk through the house during a pandemic, and then their house needs a little TLC to get market ready. So with Home Swap, you can allow them to make their new purchase offer non-contingent on the sale of their home. This means they get to move into that new home, make that offer non-contingent on the sale of their old home, and they're happily settled in their new home before they even have to worry about listing and selling their old home. So you're helping to remove fears, overcome objections about needing to move multiple times, expensive short-term housing, ultra-competitive offer situations. You're unlocking inventory with Home Swap, and that's why I joined NOC. I'm an agent myself down in California, and like the Washington area, our inventory is very tight and people have nowhere to go. So you're going to create more powerful, certain buyers and stress-free sellers who are happily settled before they have to worry about listing their old home. And the best part is we also allow them to borrow from their own equity, dollar for dollar at a 0% interest loan to help smooth out the transition. More on that in a moment. As we know, this is not a niche thing. People say, oh, this might be great for some clients. No, 2/3 of people are buying and selling at the same time. They need to buy before they sell. They need to access that equity to make the move, but the options just seem impossible. They can't qualify for 2 mortgages. They're unwilling to take on a potentially costly bridge loan. So they try to win with a contingent offer, and you're spinning your wheels writing offers you know won't be accepted, right? So one more time, in today and tomorrow's market, traditional lending products just no longer best serve all clients. So HomeSwap and Knock were the only lender funding that new mortgage, and it's a conventional mortgage product, before the customer's existing mortgage is paid off. So it's a solid Freddie Fannie-backed new mortgage. It's very similar to what you're used to working with. The process will be the same. They can simply go in non-contingent. So HomeSwap and Go are both innovative programs designed to best suit your clients' needs that traditional lending companies aren't offering. So we're going to go through a little bit of the nuts and bolts, but I want to save some of that for the certification next week. We deliver the benefits through a 2-part lending solution. Knock is a lender, so we don't have our own brokers, we don't have our own agents. We're just your lending partner issuing both of these loans. The new mortgage is, like I said, jumbo or conventional conforming loan. It's Freddie Fannie backed. Interest rates are competitive. They're audited daily for each market. They're published right in the app that you'll be able to use for easy reference. And then we have a 30-day guaranteed close on that new mortgage, or the client gets a $5,000 credit. So you guide your clients through the house hunting process like you usually do, but now they're empowered. They can remove the home sale contingency, buy before they sell. They're in their home building equity immediately. And then we have the equity advance, which we'll get to more in depth in the training, but it is truly innovative. We're allowing your client to leverage their equity at 0% interest. So they can transition, and that means they can use it for up to 20% of their new down payment. Up to 6 months of old mortgage payments will be covered. So they're only paying their new mortgage. And then $25,000 may be available for home prep funds, depending on their equity position. 0% interest on that for 6 months. They can also use it to cover closing costs, any potential appraisal gaps, and they can roll that into the new mortgage or pay it. They can have that be paid out of their advance at the end. So they can come with no cash to close. So that is the beauty of HomeSwap. It's fairly simple. You'll get certified, hopefully with me next week, and then you'll have the access to the app. You can share this information with your clients. We provide marketing materials. Everything walks you through the process. You'll hand them off to the loan advisor, and they go through the process like any other lender. We're simply qualifying them for a 2-part solution that allows them to go ahead and make that new purchase offer with no sale contingency and access their equity. There we go. Perfect. So now we're going to switch gears and go briefly over Knock Go. It's a guaranteed to close loan for your buyers. So we have buyers here, Andre and Diane. They're tired of renting. They've lost out on multiple homes. They're losing out to cash buyers or buyers with stronger financing. And they're a little trepidatious about their contingencies, right? So the process for them has been daunting and discouraging. And we know this is a big challenge for our buyers agents out there, coaching people through today's market. They're playing a waiting game, and then when the house comes available, it's fierce competition. So with Knock Go, it's very simple. Your clients will now compete better with cash buyers and receive appraisal protection, all for no extra fees. And I made you, there you go. Okay. So we know this is a big deal right now too. Many buyers are coming in with cash or just deeper pockets and a lot more flexibility around how they're structuring their offer, which can really be a deterrent for some first-time buyers or buyers who are a little bit more hesitant. So Knock Go provides extra peace of mind by a guaranteed close date and appraisal credit, all at no extra cost. So very simple, your client will get underwritten for a conventional or jumbo loan through Knock, then they'll get their guaranteed to close green light. They can start making offers, they close and move in, they own the home, there's no buyback, rent back. Knock is simple and straightforward. Like I said, we're the most agent-friendly and client-friendly innovative lending solution. But this is the big part about Knock Go. We are providing appraisal credit. We all know a low appraisal it's usually at the end of the transaction, right? Because it takes them a while to get out. And then it's a giant snafu, and your buyers can risk losing their dream home if they don't have the cash to make up the difference. So Knock created appraisal protection. If the appraisal comes in low, Knock provides a credit at close. It's a straight credit for the amount needed to bridge the gap, or up to 100% of closing costs, or up to 3% of the loan amount. NOC will credit the lesser of the three, regardless of whether your client has an appraisal contingency in place. So we never direct agents on how to write their offers. You simply have your client will have more peace of mind going into their offer, knowing that they'll get a credit should the appraisal come in low, and they can better compete with a guaranteed to close loan. All right. So now you're a little bit familiar with Home Swap and Go. When we get certified next week, I hope you'll join me at the same time for it's a 20-minute presentation, then we'll have 10 minutes of questions and answers. You will be registering onto that Home Pro app, and then we'll walk you through how that helps you check your interest rates, figure out how much equity your client might have. But we also provide real human support. So say your client is really not tech savvy or just wants to talk to a person about this, or you as the agent, you understand the product enough to market it and give it as an option, but you don't want to be responsible for knowing the ins and outs of the lending program. Well, NOC has your back. We provide an additional layer of white glove service via agent success managers who will jump on the call with you and your client or talk you through it so that you can go out and be the expert. And our app, as well as our website, have resources for you to share, listing presentations, marketing materials you can co-brand. Really, we're here to help you attract and win more business and close more deals with more compelling offers. So I am going to take a few questions now, but I really would love to see you all next week. Same time, I believe, same place. Well, not the same place, but there's a new link for next week. And what we'll do is get you all certified and set up on the app for next week in just a few minutes. So let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, what if the appraisal comes in about 10% low?
Great question. So NOC will credit the lesser of the three, the appraisal gap amount, or 3% of the loan amount, or 100% of the closing costs. And that's because that program has no costs and no loan origination fee. So it's essentially free money if the appraisal comes in low, but we're not promising to cover $200,000 appraisal gaps. That would be unsustainable. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So we'll get something. And in many cases, we've had several where it saved the deal recently. But I understand that in our West Coast markets, those numbers can be large.
Yeah. And what would be the current interest rate for a loan with NOC?
Well, they're competitive, so they're all going to be on par with any other lender you see in your area. They're going to be in your app, published daily. And so I didn't check today what the Seattle interest rates are, but you can expect them to be on par with any other lender.
Great. And what are your closing costs?
The closing costs for Home Swap?
Yes.
Home Swap is a $14.50 lender fee, which is less than the national average of $2,000. So that's for underwriting and processing. And then the cost to use Home Swap is 1.25% of a purchase price of the new home, which takes the place of an origination fee. So NOC is the lender. We don't charge an origination fee on that new mortgage. It's 1.25%, and that's it. So your client knows going into the new purchase exactly how much it'll cost them to buy first with no contingencies, and then access that equity at 0% interest.
Okay.
Great question. Thank you.
And when you say guaranteed close date, how does that work? I mean, in terms of it's challenging sometimes to get appraisers out on time in this kind of a market.
Right. Well, there are some fine print, and if the appraisal can't come out, the appraiser can't come out, then I think that's one of the qualification guidelines we do need to meet. Yeah. So that would be a snafu, but we are underwriting them up front and ordering everything up front. So hopefully trying to, defer that from happening. Yes. And essentially, if that is one of the conditions that's not being met, that is outside of not only the agent's control, but right. The lender's control as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
How many other brokerages are you going to pair with, like in the next year to two?
Oh, that's difficult to say. We have partnered with about 15 brokerages so far, combining the Vancouver market, which we included in our Seattle launch, in our Portland, Oregon launch. But we essentially, It's a bit tricky because with like with John L. Scott, you have the franchisees as well as the corporate brokerage. So I don't know how you'd like to parse those out. But essentially we do have a lot of the big players in each market, and then smaller teams as they get interested can be very valuable partners as well. So we have thousands and thousands of partners across the country. And I imagine that in Seattle, based on the responses I've gotten so far, I mean, we had agents knocking down our doors to get this product. I imagine that many brokerages will be open to partnering eventually, but yours is the first. So you have the competitive advantage.
So it'll be a selling point for a brief time.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
And as you know, the cream rises to the top, right? The best agents in our markets and our partners go ahead and actually market themselves with this, reach out to clients, their past clients in Sphere, let them know about the opportunities, and many agents do nothing with it.
Is there some sort of fee for agents to partner with you?
Oh, no, not at all. Great question.
What happens if you submit a home on knock home swap and it gets rejected?
Do you mean the offer gets rejected?
Yes.
Well, they're purchasing first, so then there would be no liability on their end because you're going to go through that purchase first. And so they get, they're not paying anything, you're not paying anything. It's just like your regular transaction.
I'm talking about for a homeowner that needs to pull cash out and then purchase and sell. So for instance, we use the app and we put a home into the knock home swap, and the property was rejected.
Oh, the property was rejected from.
Correct, because of the value was out of your guys' price range.
Yes.
Do you guys have a price range? What is that? And then can you resubmit? What are the parameters that you guys use to determine value?
Yes, we go over this in the training in depth. So when you're going to register your house for the home swap, or you're looking to go into a listing appointment, you'd put the address in to the app, and that'll tell you before you even go in whether you can offer this opportunity to your client. And so it must be a residence. It can't be like an apartment building. It can be a duplex or a triplex that they're living in one of the units. And currently the list limit is 850, going to be $1 million probably next week. And we're continuing to work on that model up to 2 million. And if you have any kind of, type of questions about that, you can reach out to the lending team and challenge the listing and say, this will sell in X amount of time, or this should be eligible. And of course I say list price. That means it can sell for more than 850. We do that so that your client is not leveraging equity out of a property that's going to sell for less and then they end up owing money. So it's actually to protect your client.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
Are there monies made available early on so that they can submit a higher earnest money offer?
Earnest money, no. They are able to pull out funds from their equity for their down payment, but not earnest money. Great question.
I saw there that you said it was a 0% interest for 6 months.
Yes.
Does the buyer have to pay anything back when they sell? Or sorry, the seller?
For 6 months, it's 0% interest. So they pay back dollar for dollar when their listing sells.
Well, so they still have a mortgage payment, but just no interest.
On their new property, they're paying their mortgage, the property they purchased. On their old property, we're using their equity to cover their mortgage payments. They don't have to pay them. And they can cover things like closing costs, appraisal gaps, home repairs, then the new down payment as well, if they'd like to put towards some of the funds toward that. It's completely customizable. And then when that listing sells, they simply pay knockback dollar for dollar what they borrowed out of their equity. Yeah. Potential risks for clients using to do a home swap. Brad, good question. You might want to clarify what type of risks you might mean. They're able to go in non-contingent on the sale of their home. So we're actually giving them more certainty there. We have a guaranteed close or $5,000 credit to the client. So there's a bit more certainty there. there's only, I mean, the risk might be if their home doesn't sell in 6 months. I've never had that happen. We haven't had that happen yet in the thousands of home swaps we've done. And then they would have to explore taking an offer, an iBuyer offer, or paying interest on their equity advance. The interest rates are not higher, you guys. They're on par with every other lender in your area, and they're published in our app every day and audited to ensure that. How do we show the listing agent the appraisal shortfall? Jerry, I'm not sure I understand your question. You want to come off mute and let me know what you're meaning? There you go.
Yeah, what I mean, when we present offers, there's an addendum that says this is how much the client has available if the appraises low.
Right.
And I'm wondering, what is that 25,000? If that's approved, that's what we could send on that addendum?
We have on our Knock Go pre-approval letter, we can indicate that there is appraisal protection. But again, it's the lesser of the three, so it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. So that's on the agent to communicate that with the listing agent. So you can calculate it based on the purchase price of the home to the more conservative number of those offers, right? So you can say, well, it's definitely going to be 100% of the closing costs or 3% of the loan amount, because you don't know yet what the appraisal gap will be when you're making the offer. So there's ways to communicate it.
So let's say it's $1 million house, then it would be like 30,000.
If the loan is 30,000, if the loan is $1 million, 3%
yes,
of the loan
if the
amount.
loan is $1 million, then the gap, 3% gap would be 30,000, correct?
Mm-hmm. But it would be the lesser of the three. So it's going to be the less, yeah. Closing costs, 3% of the loan amount or the appraisal gap amount. And we go over this in depth in the training. So you'll definitely be confident knowing that going in. Approval is on par with traditional lenders. There's a little more to do up front. So as soon as they get all the information to us, 24 hours is a bit tight for home swap because there's more info we'll need, but 24 to 72 hours for the pre-approval. Great question.
Do you provide marketing material to
Yes.
bring to like listing appointments?
Yes, once you're certified. Because on the certification, we're going to get you registered on the app, get you set up. Then you can access the marketing materials. You'll see on the app that the interest rates are right there. You'll see the field to enter the listing address to see whether it qualifies. That way you're walking into the listing appointment or your conversation with your client, knowing whether they're going to be a fit. You're never going to go offer them something and go, wait, I have to backtrack and pull that back, right? We're giving you tools to be able to understand if it's a good fit for your client up front.
Is there a minimum credit score for a buyer to qualify?
It's all conventional, your traditional lending parameters. So I think 620 is the minimum currently, but I'm not a lender, so.
So everyone, just to kind of butt in a little bit. So next Wednesday, February 2nd at 10:30, Karina will be having the certification class. So it's about 30 minutes and you have to get certified to use the program. So if you're here next week, we can just get it all done at one time together.
Great, thank you, Shai. Yeah, there's a couple more questions I'd like to just run through. If the sellers don't get the expected equity out of the sale and it doesn't cover costs. So Dawson, good question. We're not allowing sellers to borrow every last dime of their equity. Everything's on a case-by-case basis based on your client's unique financial position. This way, they're never ending up owing money. So that's part of our calculations and approval for the equity advance. They do not have a time limit we used to have a time limit on the contract. So once they're in their new home, we ask that you can get the other home listed in 45 to 60 days. But because of the demand on labor right now for things like repairs, we've kind of gone away with that. So you have your time after they're in their new home to prep the listing for sale. Great question. Mentioned a limit of 850 to $1 million. That's not for the new loan amount. The new loan, the new purchase is a conventional or jumbo mortgage. and then how much money they want to bring to the table. So there's kind of a limit, but not really on that, right? So that is the listing side amount currently. We are bumping that up every week to accommodate, but we have to get it cleared, you know, through the debt investors. All right. No FHA, no VA currently. Good question, Jamal.
Karina, will the buyer have direct access to talk to somebody through the entire transaction as far as the law?
Yes, we have loan advisors that'll be dedicated to you. So once you're matched with a loan advisor, you'll use that same individual on every home swap or not go transaction. So we have personalized loan advisors that work in pods in your time zone. And I have the agent success manager who you'll meet next week. She'll be on the call and she'll be there to answer questions for your clients, jump on a 3-way call with you. She'll send you getting started information, and she lives in Seattle. So we do have, we're distributed across the country, but we do have hyper local pods that work each area. And Curtis, to finish your question, they can, right now, the max equity they can draw is about 850. So there's a lot of wiggle room there. Everybody's available weekends and evenings, yes. Our customer success team, you'll see on the app, it's a push of a button and you get right to a real person, then your loan advisor and your agent success manager. There's only one appraisal. And whoever traditionally pays the appraisal fees in your market, that's all, everything's going to be similar to what you guys experience in your current markets. We're simply the lender. We are venture backed and we originate the loans.
What's the advantage for NOC to provide such a program?
To improve the entire home buying experience and hopefully gain a large market share by doing so. But we make money like every other lender.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of an old antiquated field when you think about it, and it was in dire need of some innovation. And so they've been working on this for a few years now, 6 years to be exact. Great questions. These are some of the questions we'll probably cover in the certification again, but really in-depth, wonderful questions. So I'm looking forward to work. I love working with top agents who ask these great questions and really want to understand the mechanics. And we'll go even further in depth in the training next week. So really hope to see you all there. Don't hesitate to reach out if something comes up in the meantime and you have a question or you have a client that you think might be interested, because we have been trying to launch with a lot of our partners, and you know, it's late January, early February, but then they're calling us immediately. I have somebody today. And so we're just fast tracking people as well on a case-by-case basis. So we're here to help. And thank you so much, Shai, for organizing. I will send you a recording just in case, but I hope to see you all next week.
Great. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank you, Shai. Really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Take care, everyone. Have a good one.